there is tissue injury, okay, so what happened is the one second. Okay, so whenever there is a wound injury or there is a tissue injury, okay, we normally क्या होता है कि जो platelets है, they all go to the injury part. Okay, wherever the platelets are, they try to go and reach the destination, that is the injured area. ठीक है, वहाँ पे these platelets they will try to stick to each other. Okay, they will try to be in contact with one another, and the process of clotting will start. Okay, so they will be activated. Okay, so ये जो medicines है, antiplatelet medicines, they do not allow the platelets to go and get in contact with one another, and uh, will not allow the clotting of the blood to take place. Okay, it will not allow the the blood to stop bleeding. Okay, so this is the action of antiplatelet medicine. So is this clear with the three mechanism of action of antiplatelet medicine? Is this clear with any of these 3 points?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now coming to the classification. So in many agents also, the agents I have taught you, so there are so many classification. Okay, even in antiplatelets also they are classified into various categories. That is, first is the irreversible cyclooxygenase inhibitors. Means that it does not allow the enzyme, the cyclooxygenase enzyme to be active. ठीक है, सो ये जो मेडिसिन जैसे इंजेक्शन एस्पिरिन और टैबलेट एस्पिरिन, ठीक है, सो व्हाट डज इट डू, इट डज नॉट अलाउ, ये अलाउ ही नहीं करते हैं कॉक्स एंजाइम टू बी एक्टिव. और कॉक्स एंजाइम इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, क्यों, क्योंकि ये प्रोस्टाग्लैंडिन को प्रोड्यूस करते हैं एंड इट ऑल्सो हेल्प्स इन दी थ्रोम्बोक्सिन टू बी प्रोड्यूस. ठीक है, सो प्रोस्टाग्लैंडिन एंड थ्रोम्बोक्सिन आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर दी, they have an important role in clotting of blood. ठीक है, so if cyclooxygenase enzyme एक्टिव ही नहीं होता है, ठीक है, एक्टिव ही नहीं हो रहा है, एंड द प्रोस्टाग्लैंडिन एंड थ्रोम्बोक्सिन प्रोड्यूस नहीं होगा, सो ऑब्वियसली देयर विल बी नो क्लॉटिंग ऑफ ब्लड. Okay, so this aspirin or irreversible cyclooxygenase inhibitors, they will stop the action or they will stop the enzyme to be active. Okay, so a very important medicine, that is aspirin. Okay, it can be a tablet form or it can be injection form also. Next, then under this category, we also have an injection, that is triflucil, or the trade name is Disgren. Okay, so these are the two medicines that are under the irreversible cyclooxygenase inhibitor. Okay, so these two medicines क्या करते हैं, ये cyclooxygenase enzyme को रोक देते हैं. ठीक है, it is not allowing it to be active. Because of that, prostaglandin and thromboxane produce नहीं होगा. ठीक है, then second category is adenosine diphosphate receptor inhibitors. ठीक है, ADP. Okay, so adenosine diphosphate receptor inhibitors. So these are the medicines that does not allow the receptors, the function of this ADP receptor. So a very important medicine here is clopidogrel, or the trade name or the brand name comes in the name of Plavix. Okay, so clopidogrel is a very important antiplatelet medicine which we commonly give in patients with any DVT or patients suffering from stroke. Okay. Then prasugrel is also a ADP receptor inhibitor. Ticagrelor, or brand name is Brilinta. This is also a medicine under ADP receptor emitter. And the last is ticlopidine, brand name is Tislit. Okay, so these four medicines, or these four drugs, they are under the category of ADP receptor inhibitor. Okay. Then another classification is protease activated receptor 1 or PAR1 antagonist. So this is the third classification of antiplatelet medicine. A very important medicines here under this category is Vorapazole, or the trade name is called Zontivity. Okay, so this is a medicine under PAR1 antagonist. Then the fourth classification is glycoprotein 2B, glycoprotein 3A inhibitor. Okay, and medicine is apsizumab, or trade name is Riopro, and the other is Tyrofibam, and the trade name is Agrastat. Agrastat. Okay, so this is these are the two medicines under the glycoprotein 2B or 3A inhibitor. Then number fifth category or the fifth classification is adenosine reuptake inhibitors. A very important medicine here is dipyridamole. The trade name is Persantine. Okay, so these are the 5 classification of antiplatelet drugs. Okay, and under each category there are 1 or 2 medicines which are very important. Okay, and they are commonly given to patients also. Then another category classification, which is the last, that is the thromboxane inhibitor, that does not allow the thromboxane to be produced. Okay, so under this there are sub classification. One is thromboxane synthase inhibitor, thromboxane receptor antagonist. ठीक है, so thromboxane inhibitors की उसके अंदर और 2 सब classification है. Okay, and medicine which is under thromboxane receptor antagonist is commonly given to patient is the terutroban injection. Okay, so these are some of the classification, the 6 classification of antiplatelet agents. Is this clear with everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so now moving on. So from those 6 classifications, okay, so there are here there's a picture where there are 4 important, you can say 4 important classification of antiplatelets. Okay, so first of all is the acetyl salicylic acid, the aspirin. Okay, so it is aspirin. It is used widely in patients at the risk of thromboembolic disease, where there are small blood clots in the veins or in the arteries. Then second is P2Y12 antagonist, beneficial in the treatment and prevention of ACS, acute coronary syndrome, and the prevention of thromboembolic events. Then we have dipyridamole. Okay, this is also another medicine. It is used in secondary prevention in patients following stroke. So patients suffering from stroke also we give antiplatelet medicine, and we can give this injection dipyridamole. Okay, and it is given in combination with aspirin. Okay, so we can give aspirin with dipyridamole in patients suffering from stroke. And the last is the GP2B or GP3A antagonist, administered IV. They are effective during percutaneous coronary intervention, PCI. Okay, so if there is any blood clot, or if there's any plaque formation in the coronary arteries, okay, then we have to do a surgery which we call it as a PCIs. Okay, percutaneous coronary intervention. So under PCIs, there are so many surgeries like CABG and a coronary artery bypass graft. Okay, then there is angioplasty also. So these are the 2 surgical management under PCI. So patients who are going for PCI surgeries, okay, patients who are after CABG, or patients after angioplasty surgical management, तो उनको क्या देना है, GP2B or GP3A antagonist, so that all those blood clots which are present, or any plaque formation which is present in the coronary artery, that will dissolve and that will break out. Okay, and there can be normal blood flow in the coronary artery. Okay, so these are some of the you can say the indications of these medicines. Then coming to the indication. Okay, so the first indication is primary prevention of cardiovascular disease. Okay, Then secondary prevention of cardiovascular. Suppose patient is suffering from atherosclerosis, that is plaque formation in the coronary arteries because of eating too much of fatty foods, eating too much of oily foods. Okay, so patients can have atherosclerosis. Okay, so what happens is in the coronary artery. Okay, we know in coronary artery, oxygenated blood flows properly. Okay, oxygenated blood will flow in the coronary artery and it will supply to the heart. Okay, so the heart will get oxygenated blood with the help of the coronary artery. लेकिन क्या होता है sometimes when patients eat too much of fatty foods, oily foods, so there can be plaque formation, fatty lipids present in the coronary artery. Okay, or there can be blood clot also in the artery. So because of that क्या हो जाते हैं, blood flow obstruct हो जाते हैं. ठीक है, blood flow will not go properly to the heart, it will not reach the heart. So to avoid such complication, because we want the heart to get oxygenated blood, if heart tissues or heart muscles are not getting oxygenated blood, then the heart will not function. You know, the heart will not be able to pump the blood because they are not getting oxygenated blood. So what happens is, we to avoid such complication, we can give antiplatelet medicines. Okay, so primary prevention, to prevent such occurrence or to prevent such happening, we can give antiplatelet medicine. And also secondary prevention, like after any surgical management of the heart. Okay, so of the cardiovascular system, so we can give antiplatelet also, so that there will be no blood clot because of any surgical management. Then acute ischemic events. Okay, in such condition also we can give antiplatelet agents. Then myocardial ischemia, where there is no tissue perfusion, there is no blood supply uh, in the tissues or in the muscles of the heart. Then cerebral ischemia, that is relating with the brain. Okay, when the brain tissues are not getting proper they're not getting tissue, they're not getting proper perfusion. Okay, they're not getting oxygenated blood, so the brain function can stop. So cerebral ischemia also, in such condition we can give antiplatelet agents. Then we can also give in atrial fibrillation, which is abnormal heart rhythm. We can give in angina or chest pain. Okay, and we can give in peripheral artery disease. Okay, like DVT, deep vein thrombosis. Okay, or Raynaud's disease or any other disease condition of the peripheral artery disease. So these are the indication of antiplatelet agents. Then it is also used, so this is surgical, after surgery. Okay, after surgical management. So it is also used after angioplasty or after stent placement. So in angioplasty, we are also placing some stent. Okay, we are placing some artificial mesh wires into the coronary artery, so that there will be no clot or there will be no plaque formation in the future. Okay, so after angioplasty and stent placement, we can give antiplatelet agents. After heart bypass, after CABG, coronary artery bypass graft. Okay, so after that also we can give antiplatelet agents. After the surgery of the valves replacement, okay, our tricuspid valve, bicuspid valve, okay, pulmonary valve, aortic valve, if there is any damage or if there's any problem in the in the valves, then we can do a replacement of the valves. Then after that surgery, we can give antiplatelet agents. Then third, to prevent the formation of blood clot in people with atrial fibrillation. Okay, so patients with atrial fibrillation also, we can give antiplatelets so that there will be no blood clot. Okay, so these are some of the indications. Okay, so this is a disease, this is indication for disease condition, and this is indication after the surgical management. So is this clear till here? Anybody has any doubts till now?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So now coming to the contraindication, when we should not give antiplatelet agent. Okay, so first of all, who are at a high risk of bleeding. Okay, patient is already bleeding, है ना, patient is already in hemorrhage, ठीक है, and you are giving more of antiplatelet agent. Antiplatelet agents क्या करते हैं, ये blood clot को destroy करते हैं, so and it allows the blood to flow properly. Okay, already patient is having bleeding and you are giving more of antiplatelet agents, तो क्या होगा, patient will have more of bleeding. Patient can bleed continuously. Okay, so we should not give antiplatelet agents. Yeah, we should not give anticoagulant medicines to patients who are already bleeding. Okay, so patients suffering from peptic ulcer disease, patients suffering from hemorrhoids, patients suffering from anal fissures, patients suffering from anal fistulas, or any disease condition in the body that includes excessive bleeding. Okay, and for example, in female patients suffering from menorrhagia. Okay, menorrhagia is where female patients, they have continuously bleeding from the vagina. Okay, so patients who are continuously bleeding, so in such conditions, should not even think about giving antiplatelet agents. ठीक है, क्योंकि और पेशेंट्स जो कंडीशन है वो और वर्स्ट हो जाएगा. Then we should not give in uncontrolled hypertension. When the blood pressure is not, we are not able to manage, or we are not able to bring down the high blood pressure of the patient, then such condition we should not give antiplatelets. Then if patient is having any hypersensitivity, oversensitivity to the medicine, then in such condition also we should not give. And patient having any allergic to any medicine of antiplatelet, if patient is allergic to aspirin, then we should not give. Okay, or any other medicine of antiplatelet agent. And last is if patient is having any asthma. Okay, so in such condition we should not give antiplatelet medicine. Okay, so is this clear with the contraindication?
Yes, ma'am.
Now coming to the side effects. Okay, so the side effects are number one, nausea, vomiting. Okay, patient can have nausea, excessive vomiting. Okay, what happens is if you're giving too much of antiplatelets, also patient can have vomiting with blood. Okay, so because patient is continuously giving overdose of antiplatelet agents, so what happens is patient can start bleeding. Okay, so if patient starts bleeding, then they can vomit with blood, which we call it as hematemesis. Okay, hematemesis is a word which means vomiting with blood. Then number two, patient can have upset stomach. The bowel activity is not proper. Patient can have constipation, or patient can have diarrhea. ठीक है, patient can have abdominal pain or stomach pain. Okay, diarrhea, like I said. Then patient can have rashes, any allergic reaction to the medicine, so rashes हो सकता है, itching. Patient can they have the tendency to scratch over their body. Okay, so rashes, itching, redness, swelling of the hands, swelling of the face. Patient can have fever, they can have chills, and they can have sore throat. Okay, so these are some of the side effects of antiplatelet agents. Is this clear with the side effects?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now coming to the nursing management. Okay, so in nursing management, or the roles and responsibilities of the nurses who are giving antiplatelet agents. So number one, you have to monitor vital signs. Okay, because side effects, one of the side effect is fever. Okay, so you have to check their temperature. Then you have to check their pulse rate. You have to check their respiratory rate. And most importantly, you have to check their BP, blood pressure. Okay? Then also check their SpO2 level. Okay, and apart from that, you have to before giving any antiplatelet agents, the doctors will give the orders for measuring the platelet counts. Okay, so the doctor can give the order for CBC test, okay, complete blood cell count test. So the doctor, so what do you have to do? You can take blood sample of the patient. Okay, before giving antiplatelet, you have to take blood samples of the patient and send it for CBC test. Why CBC test? Because we have to check for the platelet count कि कितनी platelets है patient के ऊपर. ठीक है, so how much is the platelet count, what is the hemoglobin of the patient, what are the WBC counts of the patient, TLC. ठीक है, so these are some important parameters you have to check before giving antiplatelet agent. ठीक है, then number 3, you have to while giving before giving any medicine to the patient, you have to educate the patient. Okay, you have to educate, you have to instruct the patient, you have to educate, you have to tell them about the side effects. Okay, what side effects can occur in your body. Okay, if you're having any stomach upset, if you're having any rashes, if you're having any itching on your body, if your hands are swelling, if your face is swelling, you have to report to the nurses on duty and also to the doctor. Okay, so any side effects, if you are reporting, if any side effects are occurring on your body, you have to report to the doctor. So these points you have to educate, you have to instruct to the patient. Okay, then watch for any bleeding. Okay, after giving platelets, okay, you have to see, you have to check for any bleeding. Okay, then follow the 10 rights of medication. Okay, you have to give it to the right patient, you have to give the right medicine, you have to give the right dose, you have to give the right route, whether it's oral or whether it's IV. Okay, you have to give at the right time. Okay, how many times in a day? Once a day, twice a day, thrice a day, 4 times in a day. Okay, so, or stat, depends upon the doctor's orders. Okay, then write documentation after giving the medicine. You have to note down. Okay, you have to record in the medication card or medication file. Okay, so all these important points that you have to remember while giving antiplatelet agents. Okay, then maybe after after giving antiplatelet agents, like a few hours after, the doctor can also give an order for performing the blood sample for CBC test again. Okay, so CBC test can be ordered for the patient after giving antiplatelet agents. Okay, so these are the nursing responsibilities. Okay, and also reduce the anxiety of the patient, reduce the stress. Okay, if blood pressure is very high, if BP is very high, then you have to inform the doctor. Okay, if patient is having any fever, then you have to then consult with the doctor if you have to give paracetamol injection or paracetamol Hello, students, can you hear?
Yes, ma'am.